Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be stuffing my fourth paycheck for the month of September. This week we took home $1,055. That's after 401k contributions, taxes, and health insurance. A little bit about me if you're new to my channel. I am a 27-year-old digital cash stuffing budgeter, which means today I'll be using prop money to stuff these envelopes. That way I just have a visual of how much I'm spending each week so that I can better manage my money while taking advantage of things like a high yield savings account, a CD account, and the rewards and credit card benefits. So we'll jump into our first envelope, which is rent. Each month I pay $1,820. And if we divide that up by 4, that's $455. So we have 400 here, a 50, and then a 5. Go ahead and take this cash out. I have some placeholders in here so that the envelope doesn't get too thick. Grab our 50 and then our 5. So now we should have a total of 1,820. So we have 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, 1,000, 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 810, 820. So that's 1,820. And that covers my 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment, as well as the monthly pest control and trash fees. So moving on to utilities now. This covers my water and electric bills as well as my internet. I have $62 as of now, and we're going to contribute $40 this week. And these bills are mixed throughout the month. They're not always on the first or the last day of the month. So you're going to see this envelope fluctuate week to week. But we now have 50, 70, 90, $100, $102. And I'm really looking forward to my hole puncher coming in this week so I can actually get these envelopes inside the binder. That will make things a lot easier for me. Up next are groceries. Groceries will be receiving $50. We'll go ahead and grab this 50. Put this in here. This week, personal care will be receiving $8 just so I can buy some body wash. That's a 10. Grab a 5 and then 3 ones. Alrighty, up next is gas. Currently we have what looks to be just $10. Last week I budgeted, I think it was around $100, and that was because I was driving a far distance just so I can make it to my cruise where the port was. So this week we'll just contribute $20, so we'll have a total of $30 for the week. Alrighty, and dining will receive a total of $70. Later this evening, my boyfriend, sister, and my friend are going to go out to the sushi restaurant, and it's about $40 a person and then $50 with tax. So that's why I'm budgeting a lot of money for it this week. I tend to budget a good amount for dining out each week, and that's just something that I want to spend my money on. But of course you can spend your money however else you want or what works for your budget and your lifestyle. But I'm not much of a cook at home, which is why I do put much more money in my dining out envelope compared to my grocery envelope. Next we have shopping, and shopping this week will receive $30. This is if I want to run to TJ Maxx or Target, if I want to go to the movies or play mini golf. This is what that envelope would cover. So we'll put in a total of $30. And then for gifts, we're going to be putting in $25 this week. And if you're new to my channel, this envelope is just used for upcoming birthdays, anniversaries, weddings, and anytime I want to treat my friends or family out to a meal or something like coffee or boba. So we now have a total of $30. So we just finished stuffing our weekly and monthly expenses. That was a total of $698. We're going to stuff the remaining $357 into my sinking funds. So the first one will be concerts and events. Originally, I was saving up for Nikki's Very Merry Christmas party at Magic Kingdom, and that would have been my first time going this year. However, after my boyfriend and I went on our cruise this past week, we decided that we wanted to focus more on traveling and saving up for that. So I'm going to continue to keep the $85 in this envelope if something else comes up that I'd like to attend. But for the moment, I won't be contributing any money in this envelope for now. Up next, we have travel, and I'll be contributing a total of $150. Last week, I gave myself $21 to spend for the entire trip, and that was not nearly enough money. I ended up not buying any merchandise on the Disney cruise ship like I wanted to originally. I ended up just paying for premium dining, trying to win a game of bingo, as well as I completely forgot that I had to pay for parking when we went to the port. So that came out to a total of $90. And clearly this $21 wasn't enough to cover it. So I'm going to use this week's paycheck to cover those expenses. So a total of $150 will be added to this envelope, but $90 will be taken out and set aside to pay for this past week's. And then the remaining $60 will be saved in this envelope with the other $21. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab 90 here. We have our 90 and we'll set that aside, and then we'll grab the $60 to add to this envelope. And that brings our total to $50, $70, $80, $81. Alrighty, so up next are Christmas gifts. Christmas gifts, we currently have 50, 60, 70, 75, 80. So a total of $80, and I'll be contributing $30 this week. Trying to catch up on my Christmas savings. Next year, I'm going to try and do a better job of just saving for it earlier on in the year. Christmas, I felt like just kind of snuck up on me. And I think I'll even try and do a savings challenge just so it's a bit more fun. I have now 50, 70, 80, 90, 100, 105, 110. So $110. I don't have a specific goal in mind of how much I want to save now. I'll have to think of everyone who I want to buy a gift for and what the gifts are that I have in mind, and then revisit this. So hopefully next week I'll have a number in mind. So more to come for this envelope. Up next is car maintenance and insurance. This envelope covers, of course, any car maintenance things like oil changes, my insurance that I have to pay every 6 months, and toll roads. And I did not expect to pay so many in tolls driving from my current city to Fort Lauderdale for the cruise. I ended up paying, I think, around anywhere between $20 to $30 in tolls. So this week I'll contribute $50 total, but $30 will go towards this pile right here to pay for the past week's toll expenses for the cruise. So I'm gonna grab a 20 and a 10 and set that aside. And then I'm going to grab the 20 to include in this envelope here. I think in the future when I have a trip, I'm going to do a better job of saving a bit more money than I think I will need. I don't know why I thought $21 was going to be enough. I will probably aim between anywhere to $100 to $200 just to cover those things that I didn't anticipate. So I don't have to do this in the future. Up next are electronics. I realized aside from saving up for a desktop computer, I really want to invest in a new camera. Right now I have the Sony a6000 and I typically use that for when I'm traveling. However, I do want a new camera as well, so we're going to keep that in mind as we save for this envelope. But it's not a major priority for me, so I'm going to only contribute $5 this week to bring our total to $16. You'll see later on as we reach other envelopes what my current priorities are, especially now that interest rates have gone down. So in hobbies, I will also contribute $5. I'm saving up for a cozy reading chair, but I also might use it for a Kindle stand. So we'll see. A Kindle stand's $40. I feel like a reading chair, at least the one I want, is around $400 to $500. So again, not a huge priority, but we have $15 for this envelope as of the moment. And then one of my huge saving goals for this year is saving for an engagement ring for my future boyfriend. That will also serve as his wedding band. He talked to me about how he wanted to also have an engagement ring during the engagement period, and it will just be the same ring he'll wear for when we get married and have a wedding. So I'm going to save up $3,500 by the end of the year just to make sure I have enough money to cover the ring that he wants. So currently we have $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $100, $200, $300, $400, $410, $411. So $3,411. I'll be putting in $30 this week. And this is one of the accounts. Well, all of these accounts are in a high yield savings account with Wealthfront. Originally, I was receiving 5% interest. However, now that interest rates or the federal rates have gone down, that also resulted in Wealthfront taking their interest rates down as well. So what was now 5% in interest is now 4.5%, unfortunately. But it's still a lot more money than if I kept it in a regular savings account or just kept the money in cash. So we now have $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $100, $200, $300, $400, $420, $430, $440, $441. So $3,441, and then whatever interest I gain from having my money in the high yield savings account, I'll also contribute to engagement and wedding at the end of the month, and I'll create a whole separate video on how much interest I gain at the end of the month, and then show you exactly how I allocate those funds into these cash envelopes. Alrighty, and the biggest envelope and the biggest goal of my entire life to save for is a future home. So I'm currently 27 years old right now, and I would like to save for a single family home. That is the biggest financial goal I've set up for myself. Before this, it was a car that I got, I think it was a brand new car in 2022, and I paid it off in just a year and a half. And that was, my mom helped me out with the down payment, but I had to repay the remaining $22,000 on my own. And I paid that off in a year and a half. And that was just because I already had the money saved up, but I wanted to build a credit history. So I decided to put a lot of money towards my monthly payment each month. I think my monthly payment is around $350, and I put around $1,500-ish each month just so I can pay it off quicker, so I don't have to pay too much in interest. But back to the savings goal, it's a future home savings. Most of this money is in a CD account gaining 5% interest. I can't contribute any additional money to that account. However, I did open a separate high yield savings account that is gaining 4.5% with Wealthfront, so that I can continue to save towards this $65,000 goal that will pay for my down payment and closing costs. So now we have $20,000, $40,000, $50,000, $55,000, $56,000, $100, $150, $170, $180, $190, $195, $197, $198. So this week we're going to contribute $57. So we're gonna have 50, a 5, and these 2 ones here. And we'll go ahead and organize them into this stash. Grab the 5, and then we have our 1s at the very end. Okay, so we have a total of $56,000 right here. We have 100, 150, 200, 220, 230, 240, 245, 250, 252, 253, 254, 255. So $56,255. And then at the end of the month, I'll also show you exactly how much I gain in interest from these accounts and how much the new total amount saved is. My emergency fund is fully funded at $10,000. This is also in a high yield savings account. This covers about 4 months worth of living expenses. However, my boyfriend will move in with me at the end of the year, and luckily our rent payment is not increasing, so this emergency fund will likely be around 8 months for me, but I don't plan on taking any money of this, any sort of money out of this fund, just so I have a bit of a cushion. Now, not necessarily a sinking fund, but I do have an individual brokerage account with Fidelity where I can invest in shares from a company, and this week I'll be putting in $30. So aside from saving for retirement, I wanted to also invest in the stock market just so I have different means of making money long term when it comes to retirement. So $30 will be going in this week. And then the last envelope, probably my most important envelope if I'm being honest, with this week's contributions from my paycheck, I'm a little under 9,000, so I'm not gonna highlight this just yet. And then I have my Roth IRA contributions that I have fully funded. The maximum contribution this year is $7,000. And then my goal is $15,000, even though the maximum contribution rate is $23,000. We'll see if I'm able to contribute a little bit more money than this. Depends on if I want to prioritize saving for a home or saving for my retirement, which is really important to me, as I know I'm still in my 20s and I can take advantage of things like compound interest. So we'll put these envelopes back, put these there. Alrighty, and I'll take the additional money that we had set aside here, which was $120, and I'll use that to pay for this past week's cruise expenses. Alrighty, so we'll go ahead and close this up. And that concludes this week's cash envelope stuffing video. Thank you so much for watching to the end if you did. If you're interested in seeing my financial journey as a 27-year-old budgeter as I continue to save for things like a wedding and a future home, be sure to hit the subscribe button. And if you like today's video, be sure to hit the like button as well. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye.